Well, we start tonight with a pretty major traffic situation. Chatham County EMS reporting that all lanes of I-95 have now reopened after a major crash. That collision involved 4 vehicles around 8 o'clock this morning, right near exit 102. And the wreck closed the freeway in both directions, creating huge backups. And we know at least one person was transported to the hospital. The investigation into this is ongoing. We'll continue to update you as soon as we learn more.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signing a 60-day suspension of the state's gas tax. This after the Georgia Senate voted 51-0 yesterday to suspend that tax. State leaders on both sides of the aisle agreed that the step was necessary following the steady rise in fuel costs since the U.S. and Israel bombed Iran earlier this month. Now, according to AAA, the average price for a gallon of unleaded gas in Savannah right now is around $3.55. We did check GasBuddy.com and found regular unleaded at Costco and Sam's running $3.49 a gallon.
Puts us in alignment with the federal tax code, but perhaps most importantly, for the immediate needs of Georgians, it will suspend our state's motor fuel tax for 60 days upon my signature.
The suspension of the gas tax is expected to save Georgians around 33 cents per gallon on regular fuel and 37 cents on diesel.
Travel headaches continue at the world's busiest airport. That's Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International. Long TSA lines are causing some major delays for passengers, some stretching all the way to baggage claim. TSA workers have not been paid for weeks because of the partial government shutdown. Right now, about 1 in 3 agents in Atlanta have called out sick. Airport leaders are urging passengers to arrive at least 3 hours early before their flights.
I'm 5 hours early because I knew that the line is going to be long, but I didn't expect it to be this long. So the website says it's like 5 minutes wait, but end up when I saw it, it's 60 minutes. I'm so glad I got here early.
I've been waiting in this line for about half an hour, and when I first arrived, it said the estimated wait time was about 50 minutes, and I just checked, and now it's bumped up to 75.
We've checked, at least for now, travelers are not seeing delays like this at Savannah Hilton Head International Airport.
We are learning more about a long-awaited gym in Carver Village. County leaders and community members are now weighing 2 options for the project, each with different features. WSAV's Nakia Harris has a look at what could be coming next.
Plans are moving forward between the county, the city, and Carver Village residents to bring the long-awaited gym to the neighborhood. I sat down with Chairman Chester Ellis for the latest updates. Since the city of Savannah signed off on an agreement, the county says they've been meeting with the neighbors to go over different options. One option would place a smaller 1-court gym next to the existing community center. That plan keeps most of the current layout, but wouldn't include additional spaces like a kitchen, fitness area, or multi-purpose rooms. Another option would bring a larger 2-court gym with those added features, but it would be built in a different area, replacing the current softball field. In that plan, the tennis courts, playground, and gazebo would be moved to a new location.
I'm excited that this is one of the projects that we come as neighbor. Is community driven. Right, the community asked for it. The community is a part of coming up with the plan, and as Mr. Crawford said, this is game changing, and so we're making sure we dot the I's and cross the T's.
Now, officials say the project is expected to start showing visible progress later this year. Reporting in Savannah, Nakia Harris, WSAV News 3, on your side.
The Red Cross assisting 14 people displaced after a house fire. According to Savannah fire investigators, crews were dispatched to the 600 block of West 42nd Street around 5:40 yesterday. Firefighters reported seeing smoke and flames, no injuries, and the cause of this fire is still being investigated.
Now to a developing story as a Kingsland woman is facing a murder charge under Georgia's restrictive abortion law. If the case goes to court, it would be the first of its kind since the law went into effect in 2020. WSV's Sarah Smith joins us with a perspective from a local attorney. Sarah, he had a lot of thoughts on the legal process moving forward.
That's right. Defense attorney Michael Schiavone tells me this is the last case a prosecutor would want simply because of how complicated it is. Here's some of the details. 31-year-old Alexia Moore is facing charges for murder and possession of a controlled substance and dangerous drugs. She's accused of attempting an illegal abortion by taking misoprostol, a drug used in medically induced abortions. Investigators say she also ingested the opioid painkiller oxycodone. Back in December, Moore went to the hospital with abdominal pain. She gave birth to her baby, but the infant only survived for about an hour. Police determined Moore had been pregnant beyond 6 weeks. Georgia bans abortion after a heartbeat is detected around that time frame. Medical records estimate Moore was 22 or 24 weeks pregnant. She was arrested in Camden County on March 4th. In spite of what Schiavone says, it may be difficult to prove Moore's intent was to murder her baby.
I think is going to be very difficult to prove, regardless of what was going on, in her life. Number two, you're going to have women on the jury, and some women are going to believe that it's a right of a woman to make that decision, and would never find someone guilty of murder under these circumstances, when it would have been legal, under the original law from the Supreme Court.
Ultimately, the decision of whether to prosecute Moore for murder will be left to District Attorney Keith Higgins of the Brunswick Judicial Circuit. But first, he must obtain an indictment from a grand jury. WSAV will continue to follow this case and keep you updated. Sarah Smith, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Sarah, thanks so much. Now on to continuing coverage on a zoning ordinance on Sapelo Island that could potentially reshape the island's future. It's been 3 long years of court battles for people on Sapelo who are fighting an increasing in square footage zoning ordinance that allows for homes to be double the previous allotted size. Residents believe the change would actually raise property taxes and eventually force them to relocate. Now they're one step closer to having an answer on what that new ordinance requirements for homes will actually be.
We've set up a series of listening sessions because we wanted to hear what the descendants and landowners and the community at large, what they wanted to see in a new zoning. So we're planning on doing is taking all of those thoughts, all of those emails, all of those words that were spoken, doing the listening sessions, and sit down and look at them, and then present a proposal that the citizens can look at and evaluate. And then there'll be a series of meetings, public hearings, so that they can give us input on that proposal.
There have already been 2 hearings, the third and final set for next Wednesday, March 25th in Darien. After the final public hearing, a new proposal will be drafted and presented in just a few weeks. Residents will then have their chance to voice their concerns before the official ordinance is voted on and put in place.
Artificial intelligence is slowly playing a role in our daily lives. Now, one local school system is moving to integrate AI into its curriculum. Bullock County Schools will introduce 2 generative AI tools to high school students starting Monday. They are meant to help the students inside the district's education suite. Officials say now these new tools will be designed to replace critical thinking but assist with research.
The new tools that are coming out that will be available to high school students are Notebook LM and Gemini. AI is changing the world. Gen AI is changing the world as we know it. And our role is to make sure, our responsibility is to make sure that students are good users of AI.
So I want to make sure you understand the school says the new tools are not designed to replace critical thinking. That's very important. To see a full interview with Phillips about the integration of this new technology into the school system, simply visit WSAV.com.